Hey guys, it's Matt Hannum here and welcome to the Amplify Your Business podcast. Okay, welcome to another episode of the Amplify Your Business podcast. And today my guest is Brooke Vilinovich.
Yeah,
I got it right. Nailed it. So Brooke is an Instagram specialist and the founder of Villa Management. She teaches businesses worldwide to leverage the power of social media and how to basically have fun. And you can have fun with social media, how to connect with your customers online. Brooke, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So before we dig into all that sort of stuff,
Yes.
You're wearing a Guns N' Roses t-shirt.
Yes, it's my favourite.
Is it your favourite shirt? Is it your favourite band, or is it just a cool shirt?
Do you know what? I just really like vintage tees, and whenever I do the Channel 9 stuff, I really stress about having guns on TV. So gun T-shirts are good for podcasts.
Perfect. Very good. So there will be obviously a little bit of video and some photos, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
but this is fine.
On our channel and where this is going, there's
At least
no
it's not going on
problem.
Channel 9.
Cool. So not a Guns N' Roses fan at all?
Oh, yeah, Guns N'
Little
Roses
bit?
fan. But I also do like vintage tees.
Yeah, cool. So I was going to say, I mean, you're almost a little bit young to be
I have
a
older
Gunners fan.
sisters. So,
Okay.
yes, that's where it came from.
Right.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. So, yeah, look, Villa Management, from what I know of what you do, it seems like an amazing tribe, I guess, something that you've been building. And I really just want to dig into that. Like, I'd love to know sort of, I guess, probably where that all started and how Villa Management was born. And was it born as sort of its current sort of manifestation as building a tribe online, or were you a consultant? Like, where did it come from? What does the journey look like?
Do you know, it's so funny. Like, if you told me, so I started my business about 3 years and 1 month ago. I only know because I just had my 3-year anniversary. And if you told me 3 years ago that in 3 years' time you're going to have this, worldwide community, this online training platform, you're going to be speaking, doing this, I would have been like, all right, whatever. You must be drunk. So no, it evolved and it pivoted more than I could have ever imagined. So I studied marketing and PR.
Yep.
So I guess there's something that must have stuck from that, but couldn't tell you anything I learned at uni and also left. But then I was doing marketing, I was doing advertising, I was doing event management, and I started Villa 3 years ago as event management.
Okay.
I was doing social media as part of a way to promote an event, but I honestly thought everyone was just doing what I was doing. So I had no idea that people didn't know how to use social media. I don't know why. When you just get in your zone and you don't focus on anything else. And then I launched another business online just using social media, and that did very well. And I had people, it was an online sunglasses store actually.
Okay. Yep.
And I had people saying who was doing the social media for that. And I was like, I'm doing it. What's the big deal? And then I had people saying, can you teach us what you're doing? And I was like, yeah, I guess. It's not that big of a deal really. And then I started teaching these social media workshops from my apartment. I thought that if I could have one workshop a month plus all the event work, that would be cool, good chance to meet some people. And then by the end of that year, that was in 2016, by the end of that year, I was doing 5 workshops a week. I literally could not keep up with the demand of it. And even then I thought, this will only be max 6 months. And then surely everyone's going to know what they're doing, right? And then here we are 3 years later, and it's just getting I can't keep up. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, it's real crazy.
So what is that? I mean, the core business now has evolved again, right? Because you do events. Also, you do sort of training workshops, but it's not, you're not running them every day. That's been scaled back.
So I was running public workshops that I ran myself and marketed, advertised and filled. And I created this online learning platform, the Social Club membership as well. And I was trying to do everything plus speaking, plus all my private clients, and it all just got too much. So when did I do it? Start of this year-ish, I decided to just evolve the workshops into the online membership.
Mm-hmm.
And now the only training that I do is private. So I work with the City of Perth, but exclusively. And then those workshops are open to any businesses in the city to come to. I work with the City of Subiaco as well. So now basically, I guess to work with me, you can either come into my online membership or you've got to come to an event that I'm speaking at rather than a workshop that I'm putting on.
Cool. So you sort of cut out all the admin process of you basically having to to run and set up and organise.
I didn't have time. Like everything just got so busy, and I was doing my goal, I guess, when I realised that social media was what I was going to move forward with, my goal was to eventually be able to speak. That's what I wanted to do. I've got a modelling background. I'm used to performing. I did drama at school. Like I like being on stage. That's my thing. So for me to be able to focus on that more, something had to give. And then I considered getting somebody else in to teach the workshops, but I was like, what if they mess it all up? Like you get one chance. And then I thought, no, you know what? The workshops were my stepping stone to get me to where I am now. I've worked my ass off. Can I say that? Can I say ass?
You can say anything you want.
Well, I worked my ass off.
You can wear gum T-shirts. You can do whatever you like.
I can get a knife. No, I'm totally kidding.
Up to you. I'll probably allow it.
I've worked really hard, and I need to step back and acknowledge that as a stepping stone to where I am now, rather than trying to keep my fingers in everything. Yeah. Because I'm only one person, you know? So
you've obviously got a physical sort of local presence and working with some local councils and things like that to help deliver this content. And there's a couple of things I want to get into about that sort of content and your comments there around people. Just generally, I can completely identify with the idea that how come everyone doesn't seem to know this or isn't prepared to try? Because even today, and this is a big part of why we're doing what we're starting to do in the next couple of years and where I think we're going in terms of our business and some more training and awareness, is that people are just not willing to – you have to fail a couple little things to get through that process.
Totally.
And everyone has got so much ego around one image or, one Insta story or whatever it looks like, that they all just stop or they try once or twice and they don't go there. And I just find it remarkable that that it even now, and it's so deep. I figured everyone would have social covered by now. Like I figured social media. Look, we're actually moving into audio. We're moving into all these new areas. If you want to talk cutting edge, I guess technology, but especially where we are in Australia and Perth, like there's very few people that are actually doing it right, or even putting enough effort in to be able to get there and do it right. So. Let's go there first because I was going to shift somewhere else. But what do you think people are doing wrong? Like, what do you think they should really be like? Yeah, what do you think they should be focusing on?
Look, I think social media is a really double-edged sword because it's fantastic that there's this brilliant opportunity that people can start a business for basically nothing and use social media to market themselves. That's fantastic. But I guess on the other side of that is that unfortunately, people that are not trained in business don't sort of understand the steps to building a business and forget to focus on the customer. They maybe come across the product that they love or that they think people might like. They whack up an Instagram account, they make a website, they do a Facebook page, and then they just sit back and think, well, I love it. Why isn't anyone buying it? And they don't think about the customer and they don't think about the pain points the customer has. They don't think about if their product or service actually solves some sort of problem, and then they can't work out why they're not making sales.
And even if it does solve the problem, doesn't mean people are going to buy it.
No, that's absolutely right. So I think that's like the biggest mistake people make. They don't focus on that first point that is the reason a business exists, and then they struggle to grow and they can't work out why.
And it's about the work, right? I mean, that's sort of what we leaned on, and it's you can't just set up that page. You can't just do videos become a much bigger thing, obviously, for a lot of great reasons. It takes a lot of work. Like I know you put a lot of Insta stories out. It takes a lot of work to do that. Yep. Or so many businesses I see, and often I'm talking about bigger, more stable businesses as well. Like we always have to fight to bring some budget down into their social media compared to what they're spending elsewhere and getting no return for. But they'll create one 90-second video. They'll pay for that and they'll post it once and probably not even. I'll call it boost, but I don't mean boost, but not even advertise it. And okay, now what? Oh, it didn't work for us.
Yeah.
Like it's about the consistent work and building that brand and investing in it. And is that how do you approach that with people in your network?
So I think the best thing you can do is give analogies that people understand. So I compare it to having me or having someone train you in social media, or even having someone manage your social media for you, it's like having a personal trainer for your business. If you go to the gym but you eat crap all day long, you're not going to lose weight. If you eat really healthy but you never ever work out, you'll lose weight, but it'll take you longer. If you go to the gym once, you're not going to walk out with a six-pack. So when I sort of explain it like that and I say, it's about what you do every single day, and, maybe you've got 15 minutes here to do some engaging. That's like going for a 15-minute walk. Every little bit makes a difference, but also you got to keep at it. It doesn't have a start date. It doesn't have an end date. It's about what you do consistently. And I think when you explain it to people like that, although they may not like it, they start to understand, oh, damn, okay, so I really got to commit to this. And I'm like, you've just got to make it part of your lifestyle, and then you'll get results. And I find with my clients, when they flip that switch and they see it like that, and they see it as a way to communicate with their clients rather than a marketing strategy, they start to realize, well, hang on a minute, just like a mobile phone, you're available all the time. It's a way to communicate. You never switch it off. Oh, well, most people don't switch it off. And social media is the same. It's just a way to communicate. It's not about, well, I'm only going to communicate on these days from this time to this time, because doesn't work like that.
No, the rant that I often have is you wouldn't leave someone sitting in your reception area.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet we do, constantly. It's a 3, 4, 5, 7, 14 days before you respond to someone who would DM a business or otherwise, and the mindset hasn't caught up to that. They are real people. It's just digital. It's not. I sat in a meeting and there was some older folk in the meeting recently, and they were working on some stuff, and we weren't combative at all. They were working on a process where they were trying to implement some change in a community, and they had all these tools, and the social program was one of them. And they're like, and we were saying, you can do this, you can do that, and they're like, no, we want to talk to real people.
Okay, I see. Yeah, and I think that's what's really hard as well. You've sort of got the millennials, and they're coming into these marketing roles fresh out of uni, and they understand, they see the value in social media, but then they're trying to convince a board of directors or a CEO that may be a little bit more senior, and they haven't grown up with it, and they know that, advertising in terms of TV commercials and newspaper and radio, that's the be all and end all, and they see social media as just something that the kids play on, and they can't see it as part of that strategy, but they're getting there.
Even though they hold the phone in front of their face all day, right?
I know.
but it won't work for them.
It won't work for them. No.
But you're right. It's also that level of work. So because the overnight explosion or whatever, I don't know about you. The overnight explosion, the only time I've ever seen something happen from zero is if Will Smith starts vlogging, for example. Yeah. And that happened because he's Will Smith.
Yeah.
So he already has a significant brand to bring to it, or it's someone that's already, an explosion might happen, but an explosion happens when someone gets to maybe 5 or 10,000 followers or audience or whatever we're talking about. It doesn't happen from zero, right?
Totally.
And the zero to that number is a huge amount of work.
It's hard
to deliver things from the small. It is hard, but it's like anything, right? We do think we can go to the gym once and we'll have perfect abs or do this, or we're looking for that quick hack plan, and that's why there's always a market for, I guess, the right kind of advice and the right kind of training, because anyone, and thousands or probably millions of 1-hour webinars on how to hack your social have gone out there, but it's
Trust
not
me,
about
I've
that. It's the work, right? And you'll put that hour in, right? Because you might actually get one little thing out of that, and that's the work, and that's where people let it go. But so why do you do it? I mean, what is your how did you get to the point that you're like, this is my vision and I really want to be training people and helping them achieve this along with me?
Look, I just think it's so cool that at any time, day or night, a business owner can connect with customers for free.
Yep.
All you've got to do is pick up your phone. That's awesome. And I don't know why, but I just that for me is my passion. That's what drives me. And I think, especially today, so many business owners, especially retail, they're doing it tough, really tough, and they're struggling to get people in, they're struggling to make sales. So instead of, looking at a $10,000 marketing campaign that maybe you've done previously, just pick up your phone every night for half an hour. get up an extra half an hour a day then. Like, don't tell me you don't have that time, because they do. And I think that's cool. Being able to save people money is a good thing. And just being able to help people. And also for me, like, making it fun. I think there's a lot of, like, obviously really good people, but very serious people in this world. And I want to make it fun for people, because there's so many lame, boring parts about running a business. I know, I hate admin. Everyone hates admin. So let's make social media something that gives you a laugh, and it provides your customers with a laugh as well.
It's all mindset as well, like as you say, because a lot of businesses and people can go, oh, that's just something I have to do. And you're right, like you have to make sure that the finances are right, and you have to do other things and HR and what that looks like in businesses. But it can be easily forgotten that you're communicating with a person.
Yeah.
And especially if you're just giving yourself targets, for example, hey, I need to reach out to 5 or 10 people a day or something.
Yeah.
You can easily just do that in a robotic fashion and not try and enjoy. And it just, you're forgetting that the other end of the phone is someone.
A person.
Not always. Like, then there's a few bots and things rolling around, but at the end of the day, that's not everyone. And the majority of people that you will engage with are genuine people that are also busy and also running their own life. And there has to be a compelling reason just to have a chat, and and that might just be to brighten someone's day or whatever it looks like. But these things really matter. And I think you make a really good point there around how just it's trying to get through to people about those little change habits, and that it's far more than just plastering things up, because that's what we could do back in the day, right? We could a print ad, stick the print ad up, it goes in the paper, job done, work's over, unless people start storming the building.
Yeah.
and then you've got someone to talk to and something to do, but that's different because there's a human there and that all works. But like now it's like, it doesn't work that way. Like certainly with a lot of campaigns we run as well, without extra human effort thereafter, just sticking an ad up doesn't necessarily pull through everything that you need it to do.
It's not enough.
Humans need to be involved, and you need to, at the same token, get all that authenticity and get those humans out there in front of the digital platforms so people can know and get a feel for you and communicate with you and understand what it looks like when you come into an office. And
Totally.
Yeah, and
I
drive
think
that
for
change.
me as well, like one of my values for my business is I never want any of my clients to feel like a number. I always want them to feel like they can contact me at any time and I'm not unreachable. And I think that's the cool thing that social media provides, is that, yes, I'm running around all day, every day. I'm out 12 hours a day most days, but my clients can see what I'm doing and can see what I'm up to, and I can also communicate with them. And I think that's where so many businesses go so wrong, is they get this idea that to be the boss, they need to be untouchable and you've got all these minions working below you. And then they completely lose touch with the customer. They have no idea what the customer wants. They get stuck in their tunnel vision and then their business fails. So I think always having that touch point with your customer, you can find out what your customer wants anytime, day or night with social media. And I think that's really cool as well, to always just have that open communication.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think there was always that you had to be hard to get to and difficult to approach the leadership, but it's actually it works in the reverse.
Totally.
Like I found that the more I've made myself available, the less likely someone demands something from me late at night or what it looks like. I'm always available, so they drop that, I guess, that stress level around, I need to reach the person in charge of what it looks like. And the more you bring the face out, and it doesn't, the big thing I think people also like brand as the reason why they can't do that is because they would lose value in the business and it's just them and their face, and without that person the business doesn't have value. But that's not the case. It can change, and you can easily add and bring other faces, and you can bring all the faces of the business in front. And there's just so many excuses that run that line. Why? Because habitually we're used to messaging our family and friends, and we're just not used to playing with the clients and with people just generally on our phones at night. We do it, but only do it with I guess an R&R mindset rather than, hey, this could actually be helping. But the truth is they should be exactly the same when they cross over anyway.
Yeah.
And it just communicating with more people and building a network is just literally what it used to be in terms of your reputation. It's just now digital, it's online, and you can grow from there. So take me back to early days then. So you start rolling through, you're building, I think Insta's really the main platform. That would you say that you've used to drive your growth?
Well, I started teaching Insta and Facebook, and I don't know why, but then I just started hearing people refer to me as the Insta person. I still teach Facebook, but mine's all organic. So what you can do for free.
Yep.
I went down because I do run ads for my business now. I have a whole funnel going with the membership, and I was teaching that. But I think there's so many people doing that. It's such a saturated market now, and I want to just go back to what works for me. And with Insta, you can get really, really good organic results.
Especially, organic. Facebook's a very tricky place to do anything organically now.
But Facebook groups, oh my God, literally, my entire membership is in a Facebook group.
Yep.
So you can get good results on Facebook, but you've got to be willing to put the time into it.
Time. That's exactly right. So on Insta, take me back to the early days. You start small. I'm guessing it was a personal profile initially, and you probably started just having some friends and that on there, or did you sort of go into business from day one?
Do you know what is so funny? I was talking to someone about this the other day. I was like the last person that I know out of my friends that got on Facebook and Instagram. I was like, man, nah, I'm cool with MySpace. Like, don't need these new fandangled thing. Who's Mark Zuckerberg? And then, I don't know, I guess I don't even remember when I started my Instagram for my personal use, but then when I had it for the business, and then I became obsessed with it, like obsessed. I didn't sleep. I stayed up all night reading articles and watching webinars, and like I've done every online course. I've watched those 10,000 hacks.
Yeah.
I've watched them all.
Yeah.
And I'm still obsessed with it. I don't know why. I don't know. Just am. Like, I don't think there's anything you could ask me about Insta that's not me, except, what's really funny? Did you see how it went down yesterday?
I did.
I was in a consult, so I missed the entire thing.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I missed the entire thing, and I came out and I had all these notifications on my phone. Even my best friend messaged me, and she was like, what's going on with Insta? And I was like, what are you talking about? Missed it all. By the time I was out, it was back up and running like nothing had happened.
Yeah.
So
someone said, Insta's down. And I said, no, that's garbage. What are you talking about? And then a few of us looked and were like, oh, no, hang on.
Yeah.
It is down. What's going on here?
I've got some contacts in the States. And before I went to bed last night, I left like a thing saying what happened, because I thought hopefully by the time I wake up in the morning, they've then woken up, worked out exactly what was going on. But I need to check it.
Yeah, no, I haven't dug in. So I've just seen a bunch of people across Australia basically saying, whoa, it went down. But
so many wasted gym sessions, so many wasted lunches. Like, if you didn't put it on Instagram, it didn't actually happen.
Well, you can still take the photo. You can always put it up later,
it's
I guess.
True. It's
but
true.
Yes, no, you missed,
but then
missed
it's not
opportunities.
instant. It's not called Latergram.
Well, a lot of my stuff goes up Latergram. I tell you what, it doesn't go up live. But yeah, cool. So. Look, with that outage, what do you think? That's a cool little topic to talk about, because we haven't really seen that with Insta. We've seen it with other platforms; things have happened, but we also know that Facebook is Insta and separate teams and things, but they still are the same platform. And do you think something to worry about?
No, I have so many Insta conspiracies for what happened. So last week, the original creators of Instagram resigned. Right?
Yep.
And now they've brought up one of their coders or something that's now taking over, and I just think it's very interesting timing that Insta went down. But hey, that's my Insta conspiracy. # conspiracy.
I like it. Yeah.
But no, I don't know. So don't quote me on that. But it is interesting timing.
It's interesting timing. And look, it's a tiny little glitch. It's just actually like a reminder to everyone that, hey, this stuff can, sometimes something might go down for a whole day. Things happen.
Absolutely.
Data centers burnt down, maybe 2 or 3. It happens at once. I'm not really a conspiracy theory kind of guy, but something like that could and probably is likely to eventuate at some point over the next decade or so, because that's the kind of thing that can hurt us, I guess, in our normal day-to-day lives, is something, wow, that's changed.
Totally.
Changed what we do.
And at the end of the day, I think it's a good reminder that, as much as I preach Instagram, Facebook, blah, 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 you've got to take this data offline. You need to house it some other way. Even if you have a list of email addresses on a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, have that constantly be moving those people off social media, have that funnel in place, because we could wake up tomorrow and it could be gone. And then what are we going to do? Well, if we've got our trusty Excel spreadsheet, we can do anything.
Look, that's so true. And I think one of the things that we like to preach as well, and I certainly talk about, is as much as I'm not in love with what we do on websites necessarily. It's you own that, or it's a place that you can at least own your content. And what's important is creating the content, because all this stuff shifts. I mean, the conversation we're having now about Instagram, we could have easily been having about Facebook a few years ago.
Totally.
Likewise, and we could have been talking about Snapchat if things had been a bit different right now. And in 3 to 5 to 7 years, it'll be different again. And we know there's going to be a lot more audio involved and other things will be changing. But it's what doesn't change is your ability to create content and to have a library of content across the different mediums.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And it's, sure, and it's a story comes and goes, but, I'm hoping that people are all saving them if they're serious enough. And these are all things that you can use at a later stage and repurpose for different things. And it's easy to think of it like this is the place. And this is where the funny thing for me about the whole privacy saga is. It's like, look, it is what it is. It's a tool, use it. Don't have your entire life necessarily on it. Not that way. I mean, don't not share.
Yeah.
But
just be smart.
It's just be smart.
Yeah.
Just be intelligent around the conversation that you might have. And if you wouldn't write it down on a piece of paper and stick it up on a billboard in the middle of the CBD, then don't write it on there.
I always get asked what's the one piece of advice you give to your clients? What's the worst thing that they could do? And I say, look, the worst thing you can do on social media is be posting naked and accidentally have a mirror behind you or something going on. So just stay clothed. That's my number one rule. Have your clothes on.
and likewise, I mean, even if that's the intention is to send a private message, really? Do you want to do people really? Of course, there's a chance something could go wrong. It may or may not. Data may or may not be breached. You might not do it, or the person you send an image to might not do it, but are you sure you want that to come up in 10 years' time?
Yeah, just be smart.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
So how does one build a tribe?
Oh my God, how does one build a tribe? Okay, always having two-way communication. You cannot build a tribe by putting yourself on, I guess what we were touching on before. You cannot build a tribe by putting yourself on a pedestal. It's not going to work. You need people to feel like they're on your level at all time. You need someone that's on the other side of the world that maybe doesn't even speak your language to feel confident that they can respond to a story or they can comment on a post, and you're going to treat them as equal. I think that's the biggest key point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just keep communicating with them.
Keep communicating. Absolutely. People want to feel like they're part of a community. They want to feel involved. They want to feel like their opinion matters. And it should matter. If you're a business owner and someone has taken the time to send you a message or send you an inquiry or even just put a comment, that should matter to you, because sort of like what you'd said about the waiting room comment. So if you have a brick and mortar store and people walk in and you ignore them, or a customer walks up to the bench and asks you a question, you ignore them, are you going to grow your business? No. People are going to be like, ugh, don't go to that store. They don't even speak to you when you go in there. And isn't that how you feel when you do go into a store and you just get completely ignored? So let that translate online. Like you were saying before, treat the comments as the real people that they are. And that's how the tribe will grow.
I guess the other side of that is the waiting room. When you go into a certain brick and mortar store, you get ignored. The really clever, smart salesperson will come through and go, hi, how are you? I'm going to be over here.
Yeah.
If you need anything, let me know. And the other end of it, which I'm sure you see all the time and I see it constantly, is the hard sell. That happens. I think we forget that. And digitally, people just go, attack, sell.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you see a Facebook page, for example, over and over again, go, here's our phone number, every post, we need the phone number.
Yeah.
And so there's the other side of the balance, right? Which is we need to be smarter.
I think there's so much online that also, before we had the algorithms and when the feeds were just chronological order, what you put in the post, I don't want to say it didn't matter as much, but now, you don't need to have a call to action on every post. In fact, I would be happy to say get rid of the call to action completely, because as soon as you tell businesses they need to put a call to action, they go, oh my God, it needs to be an ad. I need to tell people to buy. You actually don't. And now Facebook will penalize you because it's searching for those keywords. So Instagram's not like that. But with Instagram, I think when you, like you said, when you go into a brick and mortar store, or let's say you're working in a retail position and someone walks in, you don't say, "Hi, buy this." You say, "Hi, how are you? How's your day going? Can I help you with something?" And I think translating that as well to social media, like start the conversation first. At the end of the day, if someone follows you on social media, they know you're a business. They know you've got a product or service for sale. If they want to buy it, they'll buy it. They'll ask you that question. They'll ask you how much it is, and let that conversation flow naturally rather than turning it into just ads, because people don't want to see it. It's not advertising media. It's social media.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess in their defense, it's how it's been trained.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the former mediums didn't allow for that, and I really do get it. But we see constantly just a disproportionate amount of money being spent on mediums that are just not servicing them, not measurable as well, and yet they such a reluctance to put some of that budget towards a genuine high level of communication with their clients and the ability to correspond. And if you asked any of these businesses, if I could have 100 people walking in your front door every day, like what would you do for that? And they would give anything for it.
Yeah.
If they can't see that a small or the appropriate investment can get them there online.
I think that there's a lot of businesses that almost see social media advertising as, and I'm speaking about ads specifically now, as gambling. And getting people to understand that to get results out of social media advertising, you do need to be willing to invest a bit of money to get it right, because there isn't a simple formula. Yes, like there's a way you can set up a funnel, but it still takes testing to work out how that's going to work, and they're not willing to put the money into testing it because never before have you had to test to advertise. Like if you were doing a TV ad, they put it together, you'd pick the time slot, you'd know that at that time these are the people that are watching, whereas it's not like that with social media, and they've got nothing to compare it to previously, so they just think it's a complete gamble and waste of money.
I mean, too much data is the problem, because they'll see, for example, hang on, cost per lead there was $50.
Yeah.
And they're like, $50?
Yeah.
But then they'll be like, but hang on, you just dropped $3,500 on that quarter page or whatever that looked like.
Yeah.
And how many calls did you get? I'm sure people can. So hang on, did you get this many names and numbers from spending that $3,500 that you put over there?
It's so true.
Or we can't measure that. Or, we're told certain numbers, and certainly TV and radio and all that. And I get it. Like they've got their side of, it's all part of an ecosystem that it all works. But
totally.
It's madness. I mean, the thing I learned about magazines the other day, and I've got to do some more research, is that apparently when they run the numbers for magazine advertising, they don't just run one magazine as being like one person. They actually have like a multiplier, because they assume that any purchaser of a magazine will probably share that with 3 to 4 to 5 people, and some will go in a doctor's surgery. And so I think it's like 7 or 8 times they multiply the actual print, production number to say this is the reach of a magazine.
I don't. I read it and then I put it in the bin.
Well, there you go. So you're a subject matter of
I'm
one.
not that person.
but like, can you? And people are genuinely spending a lot of money against that, and doesn't mean it doesn't work. But they've got unless they're putting specific offers down for that particular medium, and they know exactly what they've sold off the back of that.
Yeah,
they've got no idea. At least they've got a better idea with all this complex measurement that can come through with social.
Interesting,
but
isn't
measurement it? and awareness is different. And I guess the gym analogy is at the start is much the same. People don't necessarily want to know all those numbers.
Yeah. They just want the result. Yeah. And I say to people all the time as well, bringing it back to that. Okay, when you go to a trainer or a gym class, what's the first thing people say? Oh, I want to lose weight. Well, they don't focus on you losing weight. They focus on your diet, and they focus on your workout regime and what you can actually do. And then by default, you lose weight. So when people come to me and they say, I want more followers. Oh my God, I want more followers. And I'm like, all right, well, instead of just focusing on the followers, let's focus on what you can actually do to bring the right followers in, because it's such a funny thing. And, you see it online all the time. Businesses are so focused on followers, but they forget about sales. It's so strange. And I think followers actually, it doesn't equal sales. The right followers, when you take them through the process, yes, they will equal sales, but they're just so caught up in followers.
Well, it's just a vanity metrics. They're just
know,
worried about
it
what
drives
people
me
think about them, right?
insane.
I know. But that's the human nature aspect. Like, so you've got to find a way to give them some of that and then get them what they really need. And we often find that we're selling one thing to them and kind of almost delivering a slightly different thing for them anyway. Or we very much believe in branding across as a process, even for the smallest of businesses. And particularly we work with a lot of businesses that are, I guess, larger scale, longer term businesses, but haven't really gone into the digital space. And my sort of methodology in a lot of ways and a line I use is I give you as many leads as I can, or as little leads as I can get away with to spend as much money as I can to brand you.
Yeah.
Because that's the way they look at it. But they do look at just follower numbers and other things, but you've got to do the work to achieve that. And it's not just a number. And so let's say a number on Facebook now is all not meaningless, but nothing compared to what it was.
Totally.
Because of the algorithm changes and the reach changes compared to like a number in a group, obviously, which is still a current medium, but that nothing will last.
Yeah.
So you have to have the clout, I guess, with your group, your tribe, to be able to shift them through the different most appropriate platforms as things go on. Otherwise, you're not going to have longevity in your business.
Well, you need to have that trust, and trust. It will follow you everywhere, whatever you do. And if you can build up that trust, it doesn't matter what you sell or where you are or what platform you're using, because people will follow you if they trust you, because they'll trust whatever you're doing next, whatever you're selling next, whatever platform you're on next, that's where they want to be.
Yeah. So it can't have all been easy, right?
Oh my God, not at all. So many tears.
I think we've been a bit pleasant and a bit happy in this podcast so far, and it's not usually the way I like to dig in a little bit because, for me, a big part of this podcast is to share knowledge and there's definitely knowledge bombs in there, but just stories as well. And like you said before, like we're all the same. You need to present at a point to show that you're reachable and what you've done is no different and that you are no different to anyone else. And I think I like to help bring people's stories through, because I think that's the best place for people to connect, because everyone that you aspire to was in some ways where you were at any point in time. And it's often as you get closer to people that you are aspiring to be like or somewhat like, you realize that we are all just
people.
one. We're all just the same. We're all just people. We're just doing something different in the next hour. So maybe you can tell me a story around a point where you had some self-doubt or you wondered why you were doing what you were doing.
Can I tell you a story? Oh my God. Do you know what? This is really interesting, because I think when you care about something as much as you do when you're creative, the problems never go away. They get bigger, but you care about the small ones less because you're too busy focusing on the next big problem. So they never go away. And I think that people do forget that, on social media, it is the highlight reel, but something really massive that happened for me, probably the worst thing that's happened since I started my business. So I started this membership community, put hours and hours into setting it all up. So that was last December. That's when I launched it, this online training program. Yep. And I think there's 5 platforms that integrate, because it's all automated to make that all happen. And it was 2 weeks before my wedding. Again, perfect time for shit to hit the fan. And I had members that were contacting me, and they were getting charged random amounts. So the membership's $29 a month, Australian dollars. Doesn't change. It's one fee. There's no joining fee. There's no extra fees along the way. So they were coming and they were saying, like, on Monday, one person would come. They say, "Hey, has the price changed? Because I got charged this month." And I was like, "No, weird." I would go into my platforms, make sure everything was the same. I was like, "What's going on?" And then the next day, 2 people would contact me with a different price. Next day, 3 people with another price again. And so I'm checking all the back ends of these systems. Everything's in Australian dollars. The price is the same. What's going on? Plus, I've got the wedding coming up. And this went on it took about a month. So this kept happening for a month. And here's me when you own a business and you've worked to get the trust of those people, you don't want to do anything that makes you look like you don't know what's going on in your business. And here I was, I had no idea what was going on. I could not work it out. On my end, everything was as it should be, yet every single day I had my clients being overcharged. That kills my soul. Even saying it now still kills my soul. So I'm going through the payment platforms. There was 2 different platforms that take payments, saying, guys, this is happening. I don't know what's going on. I can't work it out. And as well, when you're working with platforms in the US, so I'm doing it complete opposite times. Long story short, what ended up coming out was one of the platforms had a glitch. It took them a month to acknowledge it. They kept saying it wasn't them. They finally acknowledged it. I would love to name and shame, but I'm not going to. And the glitch was...
Because their legal team wouldn't be too happy about it.
No. The glitch was that for some reason my account was charging my customers in American dollars, even though everything appeared to be in Australian dollars on all the like forms and all the coding and everything. But because if I'd known at the start that's what was happening, no problem. But because of the exchange rate, every day was different, and I had people signing up at different times, so their subscriptions were renewing at different times. It was just different amounts coming out all the time. Firstly, they said to me, oh, well, it's a couple of extra bucks. Who cares? Okay, no problem. Like I could not believe that was the attitude that they had. And anyway, when they finally said, yeah, actually, it's our glitch, we're going to work to fix it, they said, sorry, you're going to have to shut the whole thing down, just start it again. So that's what I had to do. So I worked for basically 2 months for free because I didn't want to get rid of all the clients and have to get them back again, but I was trying to get them onto another payment platform without bothering them too much. And it just so happened that I couldn't do it like that. So, yeah, when I almost reached that first 100 customers, first 100 subscribers, I just shut the whole thing down and start again. And that was a bloody nightmare. And that was through working on that all through my honeymoon as well, working on it the day before my wedding, working on it the day after my wedding. Like, I know there's no good time for shit to hit the fan, but it really was a bad time.
It's crazy. And look, you obviously charge a small fee so you can reach and leverage a lot more people, and people just don't take kindly to having to do a little bit of admin.
No,
like, even if they're really behind you, it's difficult. Like, and yeah, overcharging. We've done it from time to time, and it's one thing that really gets to you. Like, when you overcharge, you're like, oh, like, you're really frustrated because as much as whether you can offer more to a client, whatever it looks like, when you charge them more money, there's just this weird sensation of, even if it's a few dollars, it just doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't.
As you say, in the soul. So you really have to fix that, but then to try and transition them all to a new platform is just sort of like, I've got egg on my face, I'm so sorry. And whether it's your fault or not, you're the one at the front line. And to get 100 odd people to change payment platform for a small number that I'm sure they're getting value, but they're just going to question. They're just going to go, oh.
Yeah, and I lost about half.
Yeah, that's huge.
While I was building them back up again, like every time I'd have someone new join up, I was still like, no, but I'd have that many if this hadn't all happened. And it took me a couple of months to get over that because I was so annoyed, and you do so much research, and I hate when things are out of my control because I'm a control freak, but I hate when you have no control over something and then I guess when businesses have the monopoly of the market, they don't care. They don't care. What's your business to them? Nothing. They don't care if you have to shut it all down and start from scratch. And I guess it just made me realize like that I never want to be like that. And I think that comes from, again, like a CEO having no touch point with the end consumer, and the staff that work there don't really care because what difference does it make to them? But to me, I hope one day that this membership has hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, so I can tell this story and be like, those people were shit. And I never want to be like that.
Yeah, it's great advice. And look, the difference with that is you had clearly the desire, the resilience, and the fortitude to push through that problem. And that's where I think that's the only difference between people who are more successful are willing to just wear that deal with the problems, because a lot of people would have shut up shop, and maybe a different version of you if it was twice the size or if it was only a month earlier, and you might not have pushed through. But that they're literally the few decisions, those types of decisions, and usually it's one of like, can I keep going?
Yeah.
And they're the ones that actually set you apart. It's not someone's intelligence, and it's not this and it's not that. It's like,
Totally.
are you willing to bear the consequence yourself, or have that borne and have that come through you rather than on those clients? And are you willing to wear that pain to make sure that you're going to stick to that $29
and just
billing figure?
Committing to what you've said. Like, I did a webinar from my wedding venue because I committed to doing a webinar at that time every week, and it just so happened that that's when it turned out to be. And I think that's what sets you apart as well, having that commitment. And, I was doing live videos from my villa on my honeymoon with my clients to say, guys, I still don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry you're being overcharged, but that's what you have to do.
And that also brings so much story to it. Like,
It's a great story.
It is a great story. And if you're doing a webinar from your wedding venue, the tribe are going to eat that up as well, because you're like, look, I'm committed to this and I'm doing it, right? So it's a double-edged sword, but in the positive way. Like, it brings so much more extra value by you doing and committing to all of that. So here's one for you. What is your favorite Disney character?
Oh, Disney character. Oh my gosh. So many Disney characters, but I'm old Disney. Maybe like Belle, maybe Snow White, Cinderella. I like the shoe story. I'm a shoe girl. I'm going to have to go with Cinderella.
Cinderella?
Yeah, for sure.
I can see that. I love that question, because I feel like people almost immediately identify with the character that just looks and feel is like them in a lot of ways, and they can feel that story in their life. So Cinderella, really cool. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, the shoe story.
Good to know.
I think my husband would say that too. Yeah.
Cool. He got the shoes?
I'm a shoe addict, unfortunately.
Did it fit?
Yeah, it fit.
So what's one weird app or unusual app, whether it's an amazing productivity one or just something weird on your home screen?
Let me have a look. Oh, Huji. Huji is my ultimate favorite app. So Huji is like an old school Polaroid camera.
Oh, cool.
And so you can take photos in it, and they look like, I take a photo of something now, and I'll show you what I mean. And they look like it's been taken on like an old film and developed.
Yeah, wow.
And it's just cool, and it's free. It only works on iPhone though. It doesn't work on Android. But if you've got an Android, Camon, Kamon, does the same thing. Also
Awesome.
on my home screen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. See, there's always something interesting that comes out of that question.
Yeah.
So do you read much? Or are you mainly a YouTube learner, or do you read a bit?
In terms of books, I cannot read books at home. My head is in 10,000. The Crushing It book that you've got up there has been on my bedside table, open to page 3 for about 4 months. But on holiday, I can read like a book a day. I like reading blogs, video. Nah, I'm gone.
Yeah, okay. So if you had to take one book into solitary confinement for a year to get you through it, what would it be?
Tools of Titans.
Yeah,
Have you read it?
I have.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I don't know if I actually read the book.
It's about that big.
Not cover to cover, but I've certainly read it. I'm a massive Tim Ferriss fan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely that, because there's so many stories in that, and just so many cool things that, like, it really is putting a bunch of, the top people in the world together and saying, what are your best tips? There's like so many value bombs in it.
It's a really good. It is a massive.
Book.
It is like. It'd be better than having a stack of the old school Encyclopedia Britannicas lying around, and because it's literally the direct advice of and it's not just one area, it's not just business, it's not just medicine, it's just everything. It's a huge.
And what I like about it is because each person's only like 3, 4, 5 pages, you can pick it up. You can read a section, you can put it back down, and you don't need to remember what you read from the time before when you pick it up again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, you can just sort of grab bite-sized chunks of it.
It's cool.
It is a great book.
It's very
really
clever.
Yeah.
Very big.
It is very big. For anyone out there, make sure you've got space. You might not fit it in your suitcase if you're traveling, but it's a great book and
it's
well worth
not
it.
a travel book. Definitely not a travel book.
maybe grab the go to chuck it on your Kindle. So
for sure.
Although I'm not sure how you would consume that book on a Kindle, because there's
I don't know.
much.
You need like an external hard drive, I think. It's massive.
So the question I ask everyone and to the audience of small business and other people that like to listen in is, what is the one thing that you would say for them to do that they could do to amplify their business?
Right now?
Right now.
If you're not on Instagram, get on Instagram. I hear people all the time that say, my market's not really there. There's 1 billion people on the platform. Your market is there. Yeah. Trust me, your market is there. Have fun with it. Have fun with stories. If the idea of putting up a post and being judged is stressing you out, if you've got no followers, there's no one to judge you. So that's my one piece of advice. Get on it.
Love it. So good. Now, Brooke, I'm so excited for Get Amplified.
Oh my God, me too.
This event's coming up at the end of the month and super happy to have you here at the event. We've got some amazing speakers and I just can't wait for the day. I just feel like the energy and the vibe's going to be so amazing. So I'm really excited for that and we'll link that up in the notes and we better get this podcast out quickly, but I'm sure we will. And basically, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a great chat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much. And so one final just question. I think everyone could probably find you very quickly. So where can they go about finding you and what does that look like?
Right. So Instagram at Villa Management. That's VILLA, just like a Balinese villa. Nothing to do with social media, but we'll talk about that another time.
Not the surname, but as well?
No, but that just happened by chance because my maiden name's Vovoda, which is 2 V's, and my married name is Valinovich, which also has 2 V's. So that kind of worked out. Or Facebook, I'm Villa Management Co. My website is villamanagement.com.au. My address is, no, I'm kidding. But you can probably work it out.
Might be a bit much.
Follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, you'll know where you are. You probably won't be at your home, but you'll be somewhere else. You'll find you at a restaurant. You'll find you at a client.
Yeah, you'll find me anywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. And I can't wait to spend the day together at Get Amplified. It's going to be an amazing event. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Hey guys, Matt Hannum here, and I hope you really enjoyed that Amplify Your Business podcast. I thought the episode was really exciting, and I'd love to hear your comments as well. We also have plenty of other episodes, so check us out on the iTunes store.